Hi everyone. Today I'll presenting you one of my thoughts that I've worked on. It's called I tried my best, I worked hard, and I failed. It's hard for me to talk about this honestly because people get judgmental about me for simply struggling on trying to navigate a society that is broken when people like to use bigotry, including hate against people with disabilities like me, and I deal with the guilt, including shame about myself. For a long time, including currently, I've always struggled with having autism, including a learning disability, along with a cognitive disability. Having it is a challenge for me because I struggle on comprehending along with learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. Sometimes I struggle to communicate my thoughts in different social settings, including on social media platforms or conversations, and sometimes I struggle with understanding social cues, including understanding people's different personalities. Another thing that I have dealt challenges with myself with a disability is I deal with the consistency of being bullied by people, some of my friends, people who I know, and people in general for having a disability, not meeting people's standards, being different from others, and struggling to fit in with other people. When I was a young person, through preschool to kindergarten, I had trouble with speech where I couldn't talk. I had a speech therapist, and her name was Pam. She did a lot of teaching time with me, where she would work with me on developing short sentences, short words, and other behavior therapy, including critical thinking. Even though teaching time was hard, and yes, I had struggled with behavior because I was stressed out on trying to improve myself, I was very appreciative on how Pam took the time and energy to help me out to try to teach me things. She even taught me the importance of using critical thinking skills, like trying to be compassionate, including understanding of other people, and try to be creative on learning. After doing teaching time with Pam, I have tried my hardest to continue on Pam's methods, including her teachings, to try to help me try my best to be a better person in society. During my time in public schools, in elementary through high school, I faced a lot of challenges with my disability. I had to require having a teacher assistant be present in a classroom to help me with learning subjects or to even help stand up for me when other students, including some teachers, would put me down for simply struggling with my disability or to try to help me find ways to be creative on learning different things. I have dealt during my time in public school setting where I had many students tease me. Some teachers would make fun of me or they assume that my struggle with a disability is that I'm a bad person. When I was in these settings, I worked so hard to try to understand what the assignments were about by having a teacher assistant help me out, being in a special ed classroom so they can give me extra time to work on homework assignments or tests, having to work extra harder on many days, including on the weekends on assignments, because I struggled with comprehending on advanced subjects, even though I did the best as I could not to procrastinate. I had an interest in playing music when I was young. I really like playing the B flat clarinet because I like the idea of being creative with playing music without being judged or harshly being put down, and even wanted to play some creative tunes, like some movie tunes, or jazz, or simply just easy music. Unfortunately, my disability with a cognitive disability had affected me even further, much as I tried my hardest to practice on a daily basis, trying to use music notation software to assist me on understanding how the music sounds. Taking private lessons, I kept on struggling even further. During my time in the Pioneer High School band, I had a male high school teacher. I won't say his name because I don't want to face any backlash, but he was hard at me. He had called me mean names because I couldn't play well on certain parts for the music piece. Whenever we had music competitions with other high school bands where we didn't make it in first place. He would shame me further. He had encouraged other students in the band to tease me further, where they called me names and told me that I was stupid, a retard, a slowpoke, and a disgrace. I felt so ashamed of myself because I thought music was supposed to be fun and creative. Yes, to be honest, it's not easy making music perfect. Sometimes everybody makes mistakes, including me, but I felt this urge of guilt, like I had let down many of my band members, including my high school, because the culture of Pioneer High School, including the Pioneer Band, was if you couldn't be perfect, you were shamed. And if you had a disability, you were shamed too. I was on the high school swim team, and it wasn't easy. I had difficulty on doing swimming techniques very well, even though I had practiced swimming conditions for a long time. I remember doing some of my swim meets, competing with other high school teams. I didn't do well as a team had hoped for, and dealt with shame from some of the other team members because they felt like I had let them down. During my time when I was in high school swim team, when we were doing weight conditioning, I damaged my body because of the weight machine had caused me injuries to my back. This had affected me for a long time as I tried doing physical therapy, trying to improve my body to be stronger after a back injury from the weight machine, and it affected me on doing well with exercise, and I could continue to not do well with swimming as much. As I gotten older, I went to community college, which was Washington Community College. It was because I didn't do well on SATs or ACTs during my high school years, and also I struggled with my disability even further on trying to learn. I was judged harshly by peers of my friends, including some of my teachers, along with people who I know just because I couldn't go to a 4 year college, or that simply my grades on my SATs or ACTs weren't perfect. In my time at my community college, I basically took basic classes, critical thinking skill classes, some business, principles of sales, history, writing classes, intro to biology, and intro to criminal justice for my associate's degree in liberal arts. Again, I dealt with the same thing too from being in a public school setting. I was teased by other students in my classroom for simply just struggling on trying to understand the subject, or if I need to use a recorder to record lectures to help me improve on note taking. And also, some professors would make fun of me for struggling or simply just putting me down even further. Again, I went to learning support services to try to ask them for accommodations, like extra time on exams, being in a separate room where I take an exam, using a recorder to record lectures to improve myself on note taking, being allowed to go to the tutoring center to help me improve on learning on assignments. I struggled so hard during my time in because I felt ashamed that I was struggling with learning and I was being teased a lot in a community college setting. In May 2014, I graduated from my community college with an associate's degree in liberal arts and had mixed feelings because it took me a long time to get an associate's degree and have to deal with the burden of being teased. It was hard for me to even further to advance my degree or to take more classes because some of my grades weren't too good or I couldn't meet the requirement like trying to complete a higher math level or a higher reading level due to my learning disability. What makes me even sadder was on how other people had brought to me about how since they got better degrees, they can do well and get a good job with better pay and be able to have more opportunities. I felt ashamed and guilt and sadness, feeling like I don't have. I asked myself a question inside of me. Am I worthless with an associate's degree in liberal arts? What do I have to offer with my associate's degree? Most of my career life, I've been working in the food service industry for about 11 years and currently. It's been a challenge of working in this type of industry because I struggle with performing tasks, including multitasking in a fast paced environment where it requires help from others. When I struggle with doing this in this job setting, I deal with some coworkers calling me names like retard or slowpoke or other mean words. I have also dealt on this job where they would use foul language as a way to make me feel uncomfortable about myself when I struggle on doing tasks. I would try to ask for help, but sometimes some coworkers would not want to help me. Another challenge that I have working in this industry is that I have lost jobs due to no fault of my own. Because sometimes business doesn't do too well, or they close, or management changes where anytime they can decide to let me go. I have tried my best to navigate this work environment, where I try to pay attention to details on the job, analyze other coworkers on how they do tasks to help give me a better insight and how I can better improve on a task. Try to ask a manager or a coworker that I trust to ask for feedback or better ways to improve myself. Also, to mention in this job, I try my hardest to help other people. I work hard and trying to find ways to work as a team with other coworkers to get this job done and many others. I keep on struggling all the time. My disability impacts me. I've been a volunteer in my hometown, Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I have done volunteering in the past at a children's museum, like the Ann Arbor Hands On Museum, food banks, and soup kitchens. Also, currently, I'm about to complete my 6 years of volunteering with a small community group, the Vineyard Church of Ann Arbor, the Friday night, since July 2018. In this volunteering group, I help them provide grocery bags of canned goods, including other essential items, along with drinks, to the homeless, including people who are low income. The reason why I've been volunteering is because I'm trying to find ways on how I can help my own community, and I've seen too many people that have been suffering during difficult times. I ask myself questions: how can I help people when they struggle in life? How can I better inspire many people? How can I want to make a change for the better? These questions keep popping in my mind almost all the time. Reasons why it's been popping up a lot is because I struggle with my disability. I'm doing tasks, and there are times I was teased by some other volunteers for struggling at doing tasks, or sometimes in the past volunteering thing that I did when some of the people who ran the volunteering would even put me down. They tell me that I was a bad person just because I struggled with my disability, or that I could not perform as well as others could. The Friday night is usually pretty good, but sometimes it can be hard. Whenever sometimes other people who are poor or disadvantaged get aggressive at me because I struggle on trying to meet everybody's need. When I'm trying to make sure that food is given to everyone, even though we run out of food fast. I deal with guilt most of the time when I feel like I can't help everybody who is struggling, or if I can't do all the performing tasks that other volunteers can do. I work on doing critical thinking skills to help me try to navigate myself during volunteering shifts, or simply just trying to help other people. For example, on the Friday nights, I try to count how many bags of groceries that we have to help give other to help give me a sense of an idea on how many bags I can give out to each people. Try my hardest to pay attention to how long the line is to help give myself a sense of idea of how many people will want food or a bag of groceries. Whenever the food was out or I can't provide everybody's need, all I can simply just do is give good thoughts, including positive vibes to them, and to tell them that we come on a weekly basis, so we'll do our best to help you out. Social media platforms are a huge challenge for me for a long time, and it's a struggle too. I find it's hard to navigate these platforms. It's because I get bullied for struggling with my disability or how I'm different from other people through messages. Also, I dealt with many times people who I'm connected with or who follow me compare on how many likes or comments they get, where they express that they are better than me and that I am not perfect. When it comes to using these platforms, I try my best to be creative and express myself as a unique person who is simply just trying to navigate a society that is difficult, while at the same time try to share my creativity or my hobbies that I like to do. And I try my best to be compassionate, including understanding of people when they have difficulty or when they're simply just trying to make good achievements. It is hard for me to share a lot about what things I like to do, like traveling, doing writing, or if I simply just want to put a nice picture of myself. I'm always worried about how other people think of me, or even get further, judged harshly on social media. It is hard for me to communicate with other people about expressing my concerns of using social media because many times people, including people I know, are heavily relied on social media platforms as a way of communication, and they simply just don't want to communicate on a phone or email or text. All I can do is try my best to navigate these things, try to be creative while having an open mind on how I can best communicate with other people, like using WhatsApp or Messenger or messaging on Instagram as a way for communication. If people don't want to use a phone or text or email, all I have to do is take a break from posting on social media to give myself a time to reflect or to strategize myself for improvements. But at the same time, I feel sad when many people can get many likes for something where I simply can't get many likes or appreciation for simply just trying to be creative or a unique human being. I spend time on my computer, including on my phone, while I look at all the photos and videos that I have taken of myself, including some of my project stuff that I worked on. All I can simply just do is smile when I look at it. But inside of me, I hope someday people who I know or people that I'm connected with on these platforms or people in general can be appreciative of me for simply just trying to navigate society, trying to be creative and doing projects and simply just trying to be a compassionate and understanding person. Friendships was never easy for me, and I struggle a lot with it. On the other hand, I am not the only one who struggles with friendship or even maintaining it. Everybody struggles with it, but I struggle with it a lot. The reasons why I struggle with friendship or that I couldn't maintain it as well is because of my challenges with my disability. I have difficulty on trying to meet everybody's wants, including their needs. I get bullied by many people who I know, including my friends, about struggling with my disability or if I'm different from other people. I struggle with understanding conversations or even processing information on what people are talking about and many others. I have dealt many times where some of my friends, including people I know, would blame me for their unhappiness if they are not doing well in life. They tell me that I'm a weird person just because of my interests are different from other people. I have tried to do social groups. I have tried to connect with people who have similar interests like mine and tried to do small talk conversation with people. But it isn't that easy and it is very challenging. I have dealt with the same thing as I previously mentioned about being teased, including being put down. I have also dealt hard times with some of my friends, including people I know, compare on how their friends are better than me or how they make them happier than me. I know I am not perfect with people. Yes, sometimes I struggle with social cues. Sometimes I can't meet everybody's expectations, and I have limitations on what other people can do when it comes to social groups or in general. I try my best and my hardest to be a good friend to people and a good person. Like I try to be kind, including compassionate, along with understanding of people who struggle in life or when they make achievements. I try my best to be a good listener to people when they have challenges or simply just want to talk. and I try to be creative on how to do different approaches with different people. Another thing that is hard for me is to openly communicate my interests or my hobbies because I get put down by other people. People tell me that I am lame, or stupid, or weird, or ugly, or simply just a retard. My hobbies and interests is that I like learning history, including social justice. I like learning about many famous people or historical figures or different individuals who work hard to make a great difference for society or how they worked hard to overcome many challenges in life. I like to watch YouTube videos, including documentaries with closed captions, to help me understand different topics. I like to watch movies, including TV shows, because I admire many actors, including actresses, who try to make their character development unique or creative or how they want to make a difference for society through their activism. I like to work on writing projects of working on my speeches and on my thoughts, my struggles, and the things that I'm trying to learn about society to try to help me understand what the world is, even though when it's broken or when the world is filled with bigotry, including hate against people with disabilities like me. I like working on making creative videos of what I like to do or skits of my historical figures that I collect, and I like to play video games like role playing games. Also, I like to write letters to influential people who inspire me or who are working hard to make a great difference. Also, it is hard for me to communicate my thoughts on my struggles or to even express concerns. There are times where I doubt when many people or some of my friends tell me to shut up, that they are not interested in hearing what my interest or is, or even my concerns, including my struggles, even though I try my best to not brag about myself or to even express my interests because I'm doing the best as I can to think of others, but trying to understand what people are saying at the same time. But also simply just wanted to have a two-way conversation. Whenever people get critical of me for having different interests or having challenges inside of myself, I feel hurt, ashamed, and confused and guilt. I keep asking myself the questions: am I really a strange or weird and a retard for liking these interests or hobbies? Am I a bad person for struggling with challenges and trying to understand my feelings? I have to tell myself that it's important that I shouldn't give up on these good hobbies or interests that I have. Do not give up on having interest in learning history, including social justice, being creative on how to learn different things. If I struggle with comprehension skills, it is okay for me to be creative. And if I struggle in life or understand my feelings, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. There are times I have to spend my time myself on working on creative projects, trying to find ways to learn about different topics that are hard to understand, wanting to figure out how I can be creative on using critical thinking skills to better improve myself or to navigate many different situations. I try to be creative and wanting to make videos of me enjoying myself or trying to share on how I want to learn better in society that is broken or is filled with bigotry, including hate. I was born as a Christian, and I've always admired, including appreciate, learning about Jesus Christ's philosophies. What I meant to say about what Jesus Christ's philosophy is, he is compassion, including understanding of when people are struggling in life, wants to find ways to advocate on helping the poor, including the disadvantaged or the disabled, get the help they need, supporting universal health care reform as a way to help people who are struggling with health insurance or have pre existing conditions get the care they need, being compassionate for many immigrants, including refugees, who struggle in life on trying to escape from an oppressive country, and other social justice policies. As a Christian myself, I've always had challenges on navigating society as a unique, independent Christian because I have dealt with getting teased by other people, including some of the other church members in the past, or other people that are very religious who I know, where they like to tease me for being a Christian with a disability, want to use Jesus' name for hateful policies against people with disabilities, or want to use Jesus' name for hateful things. I have dealt a long time where I'm always conflicted about being a Christian because of these things. Should I give up being a Christian or not just because other people make fun of me or they talk me down for simply just want to follow Jesus' good philosophy? I keep having this mixed feeling all the time, not only in the past but currently. Sometimes I try to study Jesus Christ's philosophies, have the motivation to learn Pope Francis, Moses, Buddha, and Muhammad to understand their philosophy for good things, or to even advocate for good social justice policies. I do pray on a daily basis every day or sometimes at night before I go to bed. In my prayers, I try to express to God that, to be honest, I'm a human being who struggles with my disability or who struggles with challenges in a society where people use bigotry, including hate, hits me hard. Also, when I talk to God or Jesus, I try to tell him I know that I struggle in society, whether it's working or volunteering or being in society in general. I am trying my best to find ways to improve myself, to expand on critical thinking skills, to improve my knowledge, including helping me navigate society that is broken or polarizing. I'm trying my best to continue to follow your common sense philosophies, including your advocacy of social justice. In my prayers, I always pray that I hope I can live in a world where people could be appreciative of me or understand me for trying my best to be a unique, good human being despite my challenges with my disability, or if I can't meet everybody's needs, or if I fail in life. Also, my prayers, I try not to think about myself all the time. I try to pray for others too. When it comes to praying for other people, I try my best to think of the most quality things that people want in life. I've always learned from the news, including from my experience as a volunteer on helping people. I hear that people are worried about poverty or health challenges or trying to navigate society that is broken or is filled with bigotry, or when immigrants, including refugees, are scared about their own life. In my prayers, I pray that people who struggle in life can find good resources, including housing or food, when they struggle with poverty, or people who have challenges with a disability or have other health issues. They should get access to healthcare services without being denied. Immigrants, including refugees or dreamers, should have a safe passageway from oppressive countries, along with not be judged harshly for simply just trying to find ways to survive in a society, including the other countries that are broken or that don't have the basic fundamental rights for human beings. And I want a world where human rights, including the rights of people with disabilities, can be stronger, so we won't have to have discrimination or oppression against many people who are minorities, women, people with disabilities, or people simply just want to have freedom of speech, where they want to try to advocate for good policies. Jesus Christ, including God, tells me that he is proud for me, trying my best to do good things, despite the challenges. How he, including many famous people or historical figures that I admire, along with some of the people who I know who had passed away, are looking down at me. They hope that I can try to continue to do good things, even if I can't do well or if the world is broken. I try to motivate myself all the time not to give up on being Christian. I try my hardest to figure out what other ways can I be a Christian without feeling having to give up on Jesus Christ's philosophies. I listen to gospel music, including songs that have messages about life lessons, or folk music like kindness, understanding, the importance of healing during difficult times, accepting others who are different or who have a disability, wanting to have the ability to do good things. I spend time looking these songs on YouTube or even on Apple Music as a way where I can try to find some songs that have good messages in life. Also, as a Christian, I have to do the best as I can to help others, pray for a better world, stick to the common sense philosophies from Jesus Christ. As myself with a disability, I'm trying to think of others by trying to be a good role model for people with disabilities in my own community or in society. The reason why I say this is because I've heard too many times, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or even the news articles or sometimes in downtown, where people with disabilities or parents that have children with disabilities express concerns about the world being filled with bigotry, including hate against people with disabilities. They even express concerns about how much the media, including many of our public officials, along with our current president, the T word president, including members of our judicial system with bigot views, and TV shows where they like to stereotype people with disabilities as bad, creepy, or lazy. It's not easy. I'm trying to be a good role model for these because I dealt with the same thing as I previously mentioned in this passage. It's about dealing with being bullied and being put down for simply struggling with a disability, trying to remain calm, not be provoked when people get close to me, where they spit at my face, or they like to use aggression, and many others. When people or some of my friends like to use anti disability remarks, like saying people with disabilities are committing fraud on healthcare or they're simply just causing problems for a government, it makes me sad. It makes me cry because I am not only worried about myself with a disability, but I am worried about many, many people who have disabilities, children with disabilities, and many people who have their lives changed in a hard way, where they have developed or born with a disability, being hurt in society with these bad rhetoric. Also, it makes me concerned when people use anti disability stigma, influence people too, or people who I know would do the same thing. In society, I try to advocate for other people with disabilities, express ideas to better improve their lives. I try to contact many public officials, including members of our judicial system, but sometimes it gets ignored, especially members of Congress. I have almost about 80% of the time of staff members of Congress where they have used foul language or made fun of me when I had difficulty on trying to communicate my thoughts or even express concerns when they want to weaken the rights of people with disability. Sometimes I feel ashamed when people put me down for simply just trying to advocate for the rights of people with disabilities or trying to share my experience of having disability with how it is hard for me to navigate society. A lot of people have been questioning about my sexual orientation, both men and women. I have told them that I am straight and I have a strong interest in girls, but it is hard for me to explain. The reason why it is hard for me to explain to tell people about my interest in girls is I heavily get put down by both genders, where they tell me that a person with a disability like me don't deserve to have a girl in my life. They tell me that girls don't think that I am good enough for them or that I am attractive to them, and many others. I have also dealt with women, including girls, tease me for struggling with my disability, having difficulty on understanding social cues, and struggling on trying to meet their wants or needs. I get called me names for them like retard, slowpoke, and ugly. They even tell me that I look ugly, and it hits me hard. Also, they make inappropriate sexual remarks about me, which hits me hard even further, too. Whenever I see a girl hang out with a guy or a girl appreciates a guy for who he is, it hits me hard. I am not trying to be a jealous person. I'm just saying that I find it's unfair that a man with a disability like myself can't even have the appreciation from a girl, but how come other guys can get more appreciation from women? Also, it's been hard for me to understand society because I've dealt with some women would like to stereotype men with disabilities as weak, as creepy, and as ugly. It hits me hard to navigate the stereotypical thought from women, including girls. I have seen a lot of this on online platforms like YouTube, TikTok, or even on social media platforms. Also, I had bad experiences with some women, including some girls, like to spread bad rumors about me, which aren't true, so they could just get attention or to even encourage other people who I know or some of my friends to turn against me. I live with mixed feelings of trying my best to understand these feminism and the feminist movement, including the Me Too movement. I'm a person that doesn't like to criticize too much about this movement because I don't want to sound like I'm a sexist person or that I'm against women's rights. My view on this is that I believe that women should have the right to choose for their own body or their healthcare needs. I believe that they deserve to have equal pay or be able to have equal rights in society will not face any forms of discrimination based on their gender, and many others. When it comes to women, including girls who I know or who I'm inspired by, I try my best to view them as human beings, try my hardest to emphasize that I want to think of good thoughts, including positive vibes to them when they struggle in life or when they make achievements, and that I am a person that doesn't want to force them to make them uncomfortable. My philosophy when it comes to women, including girls, is I want them to be respectful to people with disabilities like me, be compassionate, including understanding when I struggle with understanding social cues or if I can't meet their needs, and have the audacity to try to understand that I am trying to have good intentions for a girl, including women. But sometimes it is hard for me to communicate my thoughts efficiently in society because I'm afraid of getting bullied even further. I am scared of men, including women, continuously to make me feel comfortable for liking girls, including women, or wanting to have a connection with them, and wanting to make sure that women, including girls, feel comfortable and knowing that I am simply just trying to be a good person with good intentions, but also as a man with a disability. I am trying to break away from the negative stereotype against men with disabilities, even though I am simply am just a person that doesn't want to force a girl to be in a relationship. I want to have a connection with them, like being friends, or something like having a fun conversation, or even having a normal human conversation where I am trying my best to be a good listener to them. Also, in this society, there has been a lot of times where I've dealt where some women, including some girls, would like to use the Me Too movement or other feminism to basically bully me for having a disability or try to put me in an uncomfortable situation. I try my best to not get easily provoked or to easily try to get away from their different forms of harassment. I have done the best as I could to try to educate myself about feminism movement, including the Me Too movement. I've taken some free lectures about ways to reduce sexual harassment or other feminism stuff, and especially the culture of respect, to try to help teach myself on how I could be a better advocate for women's rights, but at the same time, trying to understand how to navigate a society where sometimes the feminism movement can easily put me down in an uncomfortable situation or is used as a way to bully people with disabilities like me. We have a current president, or who I call him the T word president. He made a lot of bigotry statements against people with disabilities, like how people with disabilities are causing for the problems for the government. And when he ran for the 2016 presidential election, he had mocked a person with a disability, where he did this form of this thing, where it changed people around me, along with some of my friends. I have dealt hard times with people, including people I know, and some of my friends would use the T word's bigot views against people with disabilities. They make statements like how they think that since I have a disability, I am cheating the government. I am causing problems for the government. How I'm cheating the healthcare system. I feel very guilt inside of me as a person with a disability when people would say this type of phrase, including people who I especially know. or when they even make jokes how it'd be funny if people with disabilities like me loses access to health care. I feel sad when this happens because, of course, I know that I have autism, including learning disability. I have struggled many times. I'm trying to hold on to a job due to no fault of my own. It is hard for me to work more than 30 hours a week. I am struggling with doing tasks in a fast paced environment. My disability affects me on trying to do a daily task or to even advance my skills or to even advance for the college education. I'm Medicaid, where I try to use Medicaid responsibly. I try my best as I can to understand when Medicaid asks for information, where I can try my best to fill out the forms with the help of my parents. I try to post how much money I make each year, even if I can't make a lot of money that most people want me to be. I even try my hardest to improve my healthy lifestyle, keep myself in shape, work on improving on having a balance of nutrition along with sweets, and trying to take care of my dental care to help reduce any problems with my teeth. I have also dealt hard times with many people, especially people I know, would say that people with disabilities, including me, causes problems for their daily lives. I feel a lot of guilt and sadness because I want people to feel okay. I don't want people to feel upset if I have challenges with my disability. I have to cry almost all the night before I go to bed because I'm scared of how the anti disability stigma is increasing in society. There are too many people, especially people I know, along with many politicians, including members of our judicial system, like to advocate for bigotry statements against people with disabilities, where it causes bad politics. I try to keep myself quiet because I'm a person that doesn't like to cause drama or conflict with other people. All I can do is try to work on organizing my thoughts of what are my struggles with my disability, the things that I'm trying to understand, how I'm trying to improve myself to be a better person, and try to give myself grace to remind myself just because I have a disability, it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. I'm a person who is trying my best to help other people, do the best as I can to educate myself about the issues or topics that we face, working on critical thinking skills to try to teach me on developing skills or tasks to even understand different situations. And I'm trying my best to get along with people. The world is tough for me all the time. It is hard for me to communicate efficiently or to even talk about my concerns due to the world being filled with bigotry, including hate, because I get put down by many people, especially people who I know, along with some of my friends. It is hard for me to openly communicate my ideas of wanting a world to be a better place, where it's through improvements of social justice, environmental protection, expansion of the rights of the people with disabilities, including human rights, having a comprehensive comprehensive criminal justice reform to protect our fundamental civil liberties while reduce crime, and an immigration reform to help protect immigrants, including refugees, along with dreamers from oppressive countries. Also, it is hard for me to express my concerns about the anti disability stigma that is being presented, not only in society, but also on social media platforms. The reason why it is hard for me to express this is that many people don't want to listen to it. More people are interested in controversial views or hateful, including bigotry views against people with disabilities on these platforms. I have many times with people, especially people I know or some of my friends, tell me that I don't deserve to have a voice. Some of them tell me that nobody wants to appreciate on how I am trying to be a human being with good principles and are trying to improve myself for the better, or that no one will be interested in your expression of your interests, including your hobbies. It is hard for me to judge other people because I don't want to judge other people. But when it comes to people saying mean things, it makes me want to question them. But at the same time, I don't want to cause drama or cause an argument. All I can simply just do in the situation is just work on my own creativity, work on recording my thoughts to my computer to help me uh, how to make my speeches about my thoughts, my struggles, my challenges. We're trying to emphasize on how I'm trying to be a human being who wants to do good things despite challenges. Also, I like to play favorite parts of my video games that I like to play. Some short videos of me having a fun time, like doing traveling or seeing something nice, making skits of my historical figures that I collect where they talk to each other or have conversations about different things or different topics. I spend a lot of time working on writing letters to influential people that inspire me when I struggle with my disability or inspire me to learn about different things or to be motivated to be engaged on doing different things. It's not always easy writing letters to these influential people because there are times the mail takes a long time, or sometimes it goes missing, or sometimes it gets rejected by people because they simply just don't want to take the time to listen to somebody with a disability or other obstacles that makes it harder for me to do. I spend a lot of time watching TV shows, including talk shows, so I can try to find some enjoyment, but also to be creative on learning things or to even have more of an interest in writing letters to actors and actresses that I am truly inspired by. Also, I like to spend time with my historical figures that I collect from the Unemployed Philosophers Guild to help me continue my passion in learning history, including famous people who want to do good things or work hard to overcome struggles. I know that I've always struggled with challenges of my disability through my entire life and currently. I know the world is unbalanced or that it is hard for me to navigate because there have been too many times where people are unappreciative of me for simply just trying my best to be a human being or who wants to do good things despite my challenges with my disability. People are heavily addicted to bigotry, including hate in society, including on social media platforms or media content. Sometimes I try to ask myself, what do I have to offer? How do I change myself for the better? What things should I learn more to better advance my critical thinking skills? Am I simply just a bad person for having a different interest or different hobbies, or my disability challenges affects me with other people? It's okay for me to feel sad. Is it okay for me to feel sad when other people get mean, or when there's aggression, or when it's simply hard for me to enjoy myself just because other people put me down? Why is it unfair that people can get mean at me, but I can't say anything back to them? Is it wrong for me to express my concerns when people say mean words or gross comments or vulgar language at my face? How should I best communicate my thoughts, my concerns, and my good intentions if people don't want to listen or appreciate how I'm trying my hardest? Am I really a good friend or a good person if I can't meet everybody's wants or needs or meet their expectations? Should I have to sacrifice the good principles like kindness, including compassion, along with critical thinking skills that I've learned in my life through my speech therapist or from Jesus Christ in order to fit in with others? Do I deserve to live or be in a world? Would I be better off in a world without me? It's hard to answer all these questions. It's not like a multiple choice all the time, or it's not like a problem solution approach. It's hard to solve all these problematic questions, and it's hard for me to answer these questions. It feels like an essay or a personal questions to myself. Sometimes temporary solutions don't work 100%, but sometimes it can cause a slight little good balance. But it doesn't solve everything that I would have hoped for. There are times I'm scared of being around lots of people because of their meanness, including their aggression, and the way people like to be unappreciative of me. Also, there are times where I live with guilt by people where they like to say mean things, make bad remarks on how I look, or if I struggle with my disability or other anti disability stigma. I feel like I had tried my best and worked hard and failed. I'm trying to understand my challenges with my disability, trying to work on critical thinking skills to understand different situations or to learn better, creating different strategies on being creative on how to learn things despite my challenges with an impact on my learning disability. I have tried to follow everybody's wants to try to get a good education. I try to hold on to a job, trying to fit in with everybody else's need, but I keep on failing. It is hard for me to admit why I failed. The reasons why I feel like I failed is the aggression from other people. My disability impacts me on a daily basis or trying to perform different tasks. People, including some of my friends, along with people I know, put me down for being different or tell me that I am not perfect. Other people like to use anti disability stigma in front of my face. The aggression from people is hard when I deal with the physical harassments, like being spit at and sometimes being hit at, or even people making harmful jokes, like making statements like it'd be funny if I took my own life, that it'd be funny if I didn't exist in the world. I try to hide my emotions very carefully because it's easily hard to be judged by other people, especially people who I know. Some of my friends and people in general would tell me that I'm simply am a negative person or that I'm a Debbie Downer. I have tried to go to support groups like the autism support group or the depression group as a way for me to try to understand my thoughts, my feelings, or trying to help me to be a compassionate person. It takes me a long time to try to figure out how I can organize my thoughts in the support groups because it's not easy to explain everything all in 5 to 10 minutes. But I try my hardest to think as clear as possible. Also, I try my best to be mindful of all the people in the support group because I know they have all challenges in life or other issues that they face. And I even try my best to be respectful, but at the same time try to be compassionate along with understanding of these people. I have tried my hardest and worked hard to try to follow Jesus Christ, Buddha, Moses, Pope Francis, and Muhammad's common sense good philosophies on social justice causes, including human rights, along with the rights of the disabled. I have tried, along with working hard, on trying to continue on learning about many influential people, including famous people that inspire me to continue on trying to do good things despite challenges, or to even recognize other influential people that want to do good things. I have tried and worked hard on trying to be creative on critical thinking skills, or trying to find ways to be creative on learning different tasks even with the challenges of my disability, or when I'm simply just getting put down for trying my best. I am not an antisocial person, or a bigot person, or an angry person. I simply just am a human being who struggles with a disability, trying to understand the world where it is broken, where it is filled with bigotry, including hate. I am a human being who wants to grow to help people be compassionate and understanding of others when they struggle in life or make achievements. I am somebody who wants to be creative at using critical thinking skills, but continue to learn on how to try to understand the world and many others. Also, I'm just a human being who is trying my hardest and my best to see good in people, despite the flaws, or even if they struggle in life with mental or poverty or other issues. But as a human being with a disability who wants to do good things or work hard to try to be creative with critical thinking, it is hard for me to feel okay with myself. I'm trying to navigate all that is I'm trying to navigate all that is broken. I'm trying to give myself grace or tell myself that I'm just a human being who struggles, but I'm simply just trying to do good for the world all the time, but it's not easy. There are times when people, including people who I know or some of my friends, tell me that they are not inspired by me, that I don't have much to offer because I am different from others, or that I have challenges with my disability. I have to easily distance myself from other people to try to calm myself down from crying or feeling depressed. I have to distance myself from other people to work on myself, to improve myself, to learn on critical thinking skills, or to try to work on my best not to give up on my interests or hobbies that I have liked, or not to try to give up on good principles that I have learned through my entire life. All I can do is sit quietly, hold back the tears because sometimes it bursts automatically. All I have to do is to continue to pray that I want the world not only to be a better place for me, but a better place where we don't have to rely on bigotry or hate or even anti disability stigma. Also, with my prayers, I try to pray for making social justice a better place, an environment to be protected from pollution, a better criminal justice reform, to help protect our fundamental rights while reduce crime, including reduce corruption in our judicial system, have a universal health care reform, to assist people who are poor or pre-existing conditions or with a disability to get access to healthcare services without being denied, the need for immigration reform to help many immigrants, refugees, and dreamers to be protected from oppressive countries. A lot of people, including mainstream news media or too many politicians, would say that these ideas is partisan or socialism. It may seem like these fundamental ideas that I think of might be. On the other hand, as a human being myself, from learning history, studying many famous people, including other historical figures, along with influential people, my challenges with my disability, by volunteering experiences, learning common sense principles from Jesus Christ, including other religious figures, philosophies, I believe that these are a human issue. It's a human rights issue. It's a common sense issue to help many people who are struggling during difficult times. I am proud to also consider myself to be an independent populism leaning progressive with libertarian views because I'm a person that believes in human rights, including the rights of the disabled, protecting our environment, expanding on healthcare, combating against corruption in the government, including our judicial system, and protecting our fundamental civil liberties from being weakened. In conclusion, I don't know how much longer I can be in a world where it relies on bigotry, including hate, when people like to be mean or put me down. I am not sure how long I can do well in a society that is broken, or if I continue to struggle with my disability, or if I lose interest in myself because of the aggression from other people, or people being mean with a lot of anti disability stigma. I don't know if people will be appreciative or understanding of me for simply just trying to be a human being with good principles despite challenges with my disability. And again, I know that I may not be perfect human being that everybody wants me to be. I may not be the sexy guy or a guy that every girl wants me to be. I know that my interests with my hobbies, including my creativity with critical thinking, might not meet everybody's needs. But again, I am just a human being who is trying my hardest and my best to navigate a world or even in social media platforms itself. Working on writing this piece about how I tried my best, worked hard, and failed was not easy. It took me a long time to try to think of my thoughts, my struggles, and how I'm trying to understand the world or to better improve myself. I did the best as I could to try to be a human being with good principles, trying my hardest to think of others, work hard to help others who are in need or to help people in general. The struggles are getting worse. The bigotry, including hate, is even making me uncomfortable and making me feel unsafe in a society. Being put down or being appreciated for simply just being different or with a disability is always hard for me. When people make mean anti disability stigma or making mean jokes about my body or other forms of harassment makes me even sad. I have to hold the tears and cry sometimes to myself. I wake up all the time feeling like I lose motivation in myself. I lose motivation on trying to be appreciative on how I'm a unique person with creativity along with critical thinking. I have lost enjoyment in life due to these factors. I don't like to blame other people in general because I don't want to be a selfish person. But why do I feel like I lose motivation, including being depressed, is the meanness, the aggression, the anti disability stigma that's being presented in society that is filled with bigotry, including hate against people who are different, especially people who are disabilities like me. Seeing how many public officials, including our current president, like to use these hateful views to make me uncomfortable, where it changes many people around me, or people in general, to have more negative views against people with disabilities like me, and how social media platforms are causing people to get easily aggressive or mean, or simply just make other people not appreciative of people who are trying their best. I've always tried my hardest to try to appreciate life, the things that I've worked hard on, or the creativity things that I've done, or to even appreciate the things that I enjoyed doing, like solo traveling or getting good responses in the mail. But the world is even tougher. I have tried and worked hard and trying to stay positive for a very long time, but it's a challenge because I am not trying to be a negative person. My hope is someday that the people, including people who I know, or some of my friends, or people in general, or people who are influential that inspire me, can be appreciative of me for simply trying to be a human being with good principles or have good intentions. I hope that someday girls, including women, who know me or that I'm interested in or even want to have a connection to be understanding of me as a man who is trying his best to have good intentions, but at the same time know that my challenges of my disability doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. I hope that the world can be a better place for everybody, especially minorities, women, people with disabilities, or immigrants, or people who are poor, or people with different sexual orientation who are simply just trying to get by in the world where it is difficult. I hope that if anybody listens to my speech or read this, I hope people can understand my thoughts, my challenges, and how I tried my best, including working hard to try to navigate a society that is broken, or that I am simply am just trying to be a human being with good principles. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my speech. I know that it was long, and thanks for listening. And I hope that many people who listen to me can want to work on having the same vision as me on trying to make the world a better place, and also to not have bigotry and hate against people with disabilities like me. Thank you.